All right, well. Can you guys actually hear me? Oh. It tells me that I'm not connected to the microphone. I hate GoToMeeting. Okay, I'm going to change the meeting invite to a Jitsi for next time because it actually works most of the time. I am going to provision a HA proxy load balancer for our cluster. I actually think this is going to be relatively easy. And every time I say that, it takes us several hours to do something. So I expect a few delays. Give me 1 second. All right, everything should be running. And let's go ahead and try this. I did notice one thing that I wanted to point out. Let's open up a terminal here. So if we SSH to the first... I am on Twitch. Yeah, that way I can switch between things so that I don't have to just share one window again. I need more coffee. Actually, I have a monster for today. I'm still dragging from this jet lag. I'm blaming the jet lag. Maybe it's old age. It might be more apt to old age. So anyways, if we go to the first control plane, we could run this health endpoint, and we actually had been running the health check on the local endpoint, but all of the control planes should be able to talk to each other. And if we run this, we get an OK from control plane 1, but if we run this from control plane 2, we get a failed to connect and no route to host, which is even more. This could be firewall. But anyway, so we have something up with control plane, our third control plane. So I want to look at that really quickly. All right, let's... all right. Oh, 1 second. Let me rewrite that. So maybe we didn't. Did we never install the third control plane? I'm starting to question whether this third control plane actually exists in its entirety. I know we took kind of a break from this. Oh, it was quite interesting. Let's look at our. No, don't do that. Where am I thinking? That we have kubectl in our command line, or we don't, makes me question. All right. Well, we can actually dig into this. I was hoping it was a short, easy fix for debugging, but I think it may be that we just don't have the control plane at all. Which means we also wouldn't have anything in these directories. We can check them. We also made services, so for the Kube API server, so we should be able to check these. Let's see, do we have any Kubernetes services? No, we don't. So yeah, we didn't install the control plane here. All right, so I'll do that after we do the load balancer. We'll just set up the load balancer like this one exists. And that way, anybody that's here just for the new stuff can see the load balancer. Anybody that wants to stick around with me completely forgetting to install a node. We can refresh our memories on how we install the control planes. All right, so let's go ahead and we have our load balancer. This is a base box with pretty much nothing, but I did check this. It does have HA proxy. So this is just the base GeroS Leap install. I don't know that we really care what version it is. All right. What is it probably called? It's probably not called HA proxy. I would have expected it to be HA proxy, but we can look at the. Let's go to Etsy. So it has HA proxy here, and this. I meant. So that would be where our config is, and that's the config we need to. Let's see if we can. I'm sure it has a system service, so we should be able to just start the service. So we'll just go ahead and edit the config, see if that works. Because we should be able to do like. I'm just wondering if it didn't actually put itself in the path. Oh. Oh, sorry, I didn't do sudo. Yeah, this is a failed to enable unit. Like, what? Yeah, okay. I forgot to sudo. So I just installed it, so no, it's not running, but it's not in the path either. I guess that's fine. I was thinking it would put a binary. Yep. So let's go ahead and crack open this config file. What was it called? HA proxy. Yeah. All right, so this is the default. Now, so we could get really fancy and maybe we'll add some stuff after we get the default one working. But you can also like split traffic between front end and back end. So like in theory, you shouldn't allow network from outside your or traffic from outside your network to hit the API server. You could do that here. We're going to route all traffic through all API servers, but for right now. All right, so I have not done configuring one of these very much, but I think what we can do here is, wait. So if anybody else has a lot of HA proxy experience, just speak up. We can do the front end, and we'll call this. Okay. Okay, so we can just do this listen here and not split out front end and back end. Here, like this. And then we need to add our back end, which we'll just do with a server statement. CP1, CP0. New fat, not 54. Our first control plane is at 10, right? Man, this is actually too long ago. I'm going to have to check. All right, yeah, 10. Okay, so we should just be able to do this. Do I need to do like send here? I need to look up the syntax here. I think I have to. There's a couple ways. Oh, I think it needs to be send to proxy. Oops. Does that look correct-ish? So port 80. Okay, so this is actually not quite correct because this would just be porting straight to our back end, but we need to actually. I don't know that we have anything listening on port 80. We don't have a web front end listening on port 80. And I didn't even specify port 80. That's a thing I missed here. We need to... Let's go back over here. What port is it that Kubernetes runs on? I forget off the top of my head. Then it's in the 4000 range, right? I don't remember. We should be able to look at our HA proxy config, right? Oh, yeah. Nope. I said 4,000. It's 6,000. It does have 2 4s, though, which is probably why I saw the dominant 4. All right. That is absolutely correct. 6443. All right. So we're just going to send it to 6443, which would just be sending it to our API server. And we should probably bind this to 6443. We're not going to be hitting this from the web, so I think we can leave this like this. I'm going to leave it like this for right now, although I think we can just omit it. I don't think that this is required, so let's just delete it. And we should be able to give it that health endpoint. I'm going to have to look up, I don't actually have that written down in any of my notes as to how to tell it the health endpoint, but you should be able to tell HA proxy a health endpoint. All right, well, we'll see how it likes this. Okay. All right, so it's not loaded, so we'll just... We already did enable, I think. Yeah. Ooh, important key step here is to do a... My friendly reminder, in production, never just disable firewall. Maybe we'll go back through and actually fix our firewall, but for right now. All right, let's start HA proxy. All right, now I guess to test this, what we really need to do is hit kubectl with a configuration that's going to try to go through... Actually, we should be able to hit our health endpoint, right? So can we do... this, let's see. Oh, I guess this is actually hitting on its web interface. So, which we didn't route. Let's also route that, because this would be an easy endpoint to test, which shouldn't fail if we don't have all the right certs and everything set up. All right. Did I miss it? I did. All right, let's just do I have to, in HA proxy, do I have to make multiple bind statements and like if I want to bind to a different, yeah, I do. Never mind. Sorry. I always get myself hung up on trying to do something fancy and then like really regretting not just. I'm not going to repeat all this. Makes sense. And we'll just make this port 80. All right. All right. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Probably is going to be a problem to have them both listen stats. So this is listen CP plane. And this is web. Really health endpoint, but we'll say web. Whatever. Yeah. And that is why it failed. Because it failed to restart. Or I'm assuming because it started correctly this time. All right, so as long as we don't get... So this is going to bite us in the hind end if we get the... if it load balances to our third node that doesn't exist, right? Otherwise, this should work. Okay, so we got an Nginx response, which is promising because Nginx doesn't actually run, but it doesn't like the request. And it is from the HA proxy, so Nginx didn't like it, and this might be... we'll have to go look at how Nginx is set up. So we passed the certificate. Oh. So this takes the non-HTTP S and passes it on with the trusted certificate. So that should work from the load balancer, right? Is it? No, it's listing on port 80 for server name Kubernetes default SVC cluster local. And then this is where it's proxying to, right? Right, but there was no cert provided because it was on port 80 of HTTP. Correct. Right. Yeah, okay. So this is what I'm saying. Like, the load balancer should be able to hit this without a cert. At least that's my understanding. Because it looks like it says bad request. We have the right server, the host file. I'm wondering if this is not getting passed on through the load balancer properly, this host. But what if you're requesting a host that doesn't exist? So if this host didn't get passed on, actually let's do that. We can do this and it works fine for us, or not to the load balancer, but to the CP1. We can make the direct, and it works. So we know CP1 and our own is working. So let's take out this host here, this part, and make the request. It goes to not found. So bad request doesn't. Yeah, okay, never mind. Sorry. That is like literally what a 404 is designed for. Not found. Host isn't found. Okay, never mind. So why does it reject the load balancer? Let's look at Nginx logs then. I don't know which one it's hitting, so I'm going to make a couple of requests, assuming that it's going to hit the one that I'm on. Okay, let's check Nginx logs. Well, no. Let's look at the other. We could actually look at what HA proxy is writing. Ooh, actually. I wonder if we run this directly from the load balancer, just try to curl the health endpoint. Not through the load balancer, just through. So, yeah. All right, so I'm assuming that we have something bad in our HA proxy path forwarding. Because here we just curled from the load balancer http cp0 example.com health. Wait a second. I removed a line, and I immediately regret this. Wasn't there where the default base path is? Okay, so if we're requesting hells, it should do /hells on it. Hells. I don't know how to pronounce that. I want to always say like plural hell, but healths with a Z. All right, what's wrong with this configuration? We're on port 80. And we're getting a bad request. But if we make the request from HA proxy to the control plane, just like it should be doing, we get okay. I'm 1 second. Nginx. Okay. Does Nginx not write to journal CTL? Is what I'm assuming. Is it varlog? I'm fairly positive it's not journal CTL because all it says is started the Nginx HTTP and reverse proxy server, period. Nah, if it can't handle that, what's the system log for if you're not putting all your web traffic through it? Okay, that makes sense. I now feel like an idiot for sitting here and watching journal CTL logs at all. All right. All right, let's actually look at these logs. I don't see an Nginx. Oh, no, I do. Never mind. I always want to actually spell engine like. Yeah, with ease. I want to put ease in it. I'm trying to use HA proxy here. Let's. Actually, we probably should just tail error log. Right? Cannot open for reading. No such file or directory. My foot. Well. What was it? All right. So here we go. Host, Kubernetes default, SVC cluster local. Oh, thanks, Panos. Yeah, you're right. It is in nginx error.log. Let's see. Git hills HTTP1. What's wrong here? Why aren't these working? No such file or directory. Oh, wait. Oh, look at the path. So it's not going to the root path. It's going to /serve/ww/htdocs/hills. Okay. Let me try to look at our Nginx config. I'm gonna pull that up. For anybody that's just joining on Twitch or anywhere else, we are doing Kubernetes the hardest way, standing up a cluster. It's good to see you, Panos. Yeah, we're doing Kubernetes the hardest way, and it's pretty hard on KVM. Or I'm not much of a Linux admin, so that also doesn't help. All right. What did I? Oh, I wanted to look at our. Engine X. Wait. Yeah, we want vhosts. No, I don't think this is going to tell me much. I wanted to see where this was locally mounted on the file path. Right. I guess the 1955. Ugh. Oh, yeah. All right, so valuable lesson number 1 here. Always don't assume that the latest logs are from any time recent. All right. So let's actually just look at logs then. And maybe while we're tailing logs, or access. All right, now let me make another request. So this looks like the curl request here. So this is on CP0. So let's make a curl request from CP1. All right. Do I have it? Yeah, here we go. CP1. Oh, we want to make the curl request to CP0. We get an OK. We get a curl request here. Now, this is the problem here. This one's returning 400. What's different about... Oh, it's... Yeah, it's not a get. Okay, yeah. Let's go here. We don't want this. I don't think. I think that was our problem. Oh, because this is sending it as a proxy. And we just kind of want to do it incognito. Do I need to do... I'm going to do it like this, but I'm thinking, do I need to actually put something else other than send proxy here? I should be better at HA proxy. Oh. None of these are HTTPS. So this is just on 80. But this. I specified the ports here, so I think that should be fine. Right, this is what I'm saying is... Yeah. It should be fine for right now. Let's now try hitting the load balancer. So instead of this... and we should hit LB0. Still a bad request. Oh, I need to reload HA proxy. Sorry. New mistake here. I really wish these things would do hot file reload. I mean, like, how hard can it be? Yeah, Panos, I'm an idiot. Also, thank you for the Vim. I am not particularly great. I used to be a Windows developer, so I kind of suck at Vim. I apologize if it's painful. It's actually gotten better. If that's hard to believe. If you looked at me like a month ago in Vim, that was rough. Yeah. People here are kind of used to feeling like. Also, don't get me talking because I can't talk and type at the same time. Um, I really can't. I'm sorry. Oh, look at that. Our load balancer works. And let's verify that it's hitting both, because it really should be hitting both control planes. Oh, look, it didn't hit this one. We don't have it in our logs. This is CP0, so let's keep hitting it until we hit our... Wait. Yeah, it hasn't... Is this right? Yeah, okay, there it hit it. So it is load balancing across our two control planes, and this has actually proved a very cool part about the load balancer. Inadvertently, we don't have our third control plane, even though it's configured in HA proxy. So if we look here, we have our third control plane configured, but we've kind of made it down. The third control plane is offline. So if we actually make this request to CP2 directly, we'll get the failed to connect. But if we're using the load balancer, we'll never get it, which is cool. Even though we have a down server. So. I'm sorry, my fingers are really cold. My basement is like 5 degrees Celsius. Yeah, it sounds like HA proxy does a lot of cool stuff, and we should probably do some more with it. I would have to do some research before I tried to do anything more on stream. But this did fulfill what I was trying to get done today. Are there any questions about why we would install the load balancer or anything like that? If not, I'm going to go ahead and actually fix our third control plane. And by fix, I mean actually install the control plane on our third one. If you don't remember the steps, it's a good refresher. I'm kind of happy that it's that way because we did it like a month ago and we haven't touched it since like before Christmas. So I feel kind of bad. But yeah, basically we forgot to install our third control plane. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but it's going to be a lot of just repeat and copy paste work. And then we have another thing that we need to do, but we'll probably do this next time. We need to set up our kubectl to run through the proxy. So right now our kubectl was configured to actually hit the nodes directly. Like it was hard coded with the very first control plane node IP, and it should really hit our load balancer. And we'll update it to do that and make sure that that's working. But we'll do that next time. This time I'm just going to go ahead and start filling out that. And then if I get the time, I'm going to do some GPU stuff. So I'm going to try to set up some nodes to run GPUs and install like Kubeflow and stuff on it. So. Anyways, that will conclude for today's Kubernetes the hardest way, except for, I'm going to install another node. Any questions from anybody? All right. So, man, I'm going to have to go back and look at what we did for the control plane. We have the certificates copied out. We don't need etcd here. We have our kube config. We have the kube config for the scheduler and stuff copied out. That looks good. The encryption YAML. We have the kube API service. Is that the only service we copied here? So it looks like we started some piecemeal. So that's basically, let's start at the top and check the boxes. So again, this is Kubernetes the Hard Way by Kelsey Hightower. I need to drop this link out there for people if they want it. Anyways, he does it on the Google Cloud Engine. We're doing it on KVM. All right, so I guess we need to do this. So it's very important that you keep the versions in line. I actually think later in the future, I want to do this again, but hopefully faster because we don't have to figure out as many things. I want to do it with 117, I think. Whatever the latest is. It will probably be 118 because I don't see me doing it this quarter. But when 118 gets released, I kind of want to do it again with 118 because 115 is starting to age. It's like 6 months old. It shouldn't change a whole lot. There's a few things that have changed, but it should probably be mostly the same. The big thing will be that the versions, you'll have to keep all the versions in sync, and no. I need to get. Okay, I have to stop using Firefox. I love Firefox, but there is one feature that I need that I've gotten very accustomed to in Chrome, which probably means I'll be changing to Chromium, not actually Chrome. Is they have a very nice Vim keyboard, and I know that I suck at Vim, so don't laugh too much. But it allows me to navigate up and down with the keyboard. Which I know those Vim navigation things, so it helps me. Okay, so arrow keys make me have to move my hand. Okay, let me show you the problem. Let me show you the problem. First, I have a very nice keyboard that I like very much. Let me transition. Go. All right. So here's the problem. This hand rests very comfortably right here. Right over here, we have these arrow keys. So I got to do this. Yep. So that's the problem. I guess that makes me like super lazy. That I don't want to go over to the arrow keys, but HJKL, like I don't have to move. Nope. All right. So you know what causes real wrist pain is moving for the arrow keys to go up and down in the web browser. That causes wrist pain. So there are some for Firefox. I have never found them to actually work like the one that I found in Chrome. The Chrome one is just really well done. The one in Firefox like chooses to not work on some pages. It lacks like some of the features. Like I know I was talking about HJKL, but there's also like the page up and page down and copying stuff. It's it's pretty nice. All right, so just to say what I'm going over here, we are copying. Oh, that maybe didn't work well. Oh no, that's fine. We're copying the search to the location where people. So it's varlib Kubernetes. We're moving all of the search stuff there for Kubernetes to use. I suppose you could use anywhere because you're just going to configure it. But yeah. Another thing to notice if you're following along with Kelsey Hightowers is that he always does this internal IP and curling or using the Google CLI for their things. You need to just put this yourself, so you can set it, or I update these anyways. I actually think that I forgot about this. Oh, didn't we already have the Cube API server over here? Hopefully we did. Cube API server, yes. All right, so our IP address, just refresher, is 12 on this one. All right, don't make fun of me. I'm in Vim. I can exit all on my own. I haven't gotten stuck in Vim for at least 6 months. Here's our etcd servers. Those are indeed correct. Advertise address. This needs to be um 644. What was this? 6442, 6443. Do we need that? Do we need the port? I'm gonna guess yes. One up, up. There's me trying to get out. I'm going to guess yes. Let's go over here. Also, for all of those, try. I mean, obviously, if I was more comfortable in Vim, it would not be as difficult. But try to do it on a live stream, and for some reason, I forget at least a quarter. So most of it's still my fault, but at least a quarter of it is doing it in front of people. I actually think I've gotten a little bit better. I don't know. You guys can tell me, but I think I've gotten a little bit better of like just rolling with the, well, that didn't work. And now I'm staring at my screen. Etsy. Let me see really quickly. I just want to see what we did over here. Cube API server. And yeah, we didn't have to give IP address or a port. Cool. Anything else to note? I think that's all. I think that's all we needed to change. All right. Oh, okay. We just need to copy it here. All right. And now the Cube controller manager. All right, so these right here are the cube configs that we created. Let's go ahead and, since we're just going through a refresher, the cube configs, it's just how they communicate. So actually, this will be my next YouTube video. So hopefully I get it out this weekend. I say this weekend, that's really hopeful. I am not very fast at pushing out those YouTube videos, but it should be about how to create these and what they're for. But let's go ahead and cat one of these, see what it looks like. All right. So again, you probably don't want to, if this is a real Kubernetes cluster, you probably don't want to show this to people. This doesn't have anything secret for this cluster. But this is where the server is. Again, this is where I say ours isn't, well, this is fine. Our admin config we can look over, it also just points to our one control plane node. It doesn't point to the load balancer, and that's where this comes in. This is fine because this is actually talking to other components on this control plane. I suppose we could actually point this to the load balancer internally so that this instance of the, what did we cat? We cat the controller manager, that this instance of the controller manager doesn't talk to the API server that sits on the same machine. I think that sounds like a waste of network travel, but you could. Maybe that's actually good. I don't know. I have to think about that and see what other people have done. I'll look that up. But for the most part, this is going to talk to the API server that's sitting on the same machine as it. This is the user. Yeah, it gives some context. It gives some certs. You know, the certificate authority and the client data and the client key. So anyways, my next YouTube video will be on how to create these. And most people won't interface with this one. So these are for the actual components themselves. Most people interact with the one that goes when you create a cluster, do I have one? Let me look over here. No, I don't have one here. So let's create one. Do I have to tell it how many workers to do? No. I think this will just work like this. Oh, okay. Let's do this then. Ooh. Okay, well, we'll just change this to config. So this here is also, all right. So this here, this config that we're talking about is the same type of config. Actually, instead of doing this, I should have just vimmed it. You can notice here, this is why I like having it set up here. This is giving me my context for, so if I have multiple clusters, it's going to tell me what my current context is. But this is just the same type of file, but this is the type that you'll probably use. You're not going to use the one for the components. But if you see, it's kind of the exact same thing. This is a kind one, so there's a lot of kind. This is the cluster. It's a kind config, and this is the cluster kind, and so that's why it's called kind. But and this is what powers my kubectl commands. So those are the ones that you're really going to interact with. More so than these, which are for the components themselves. But all right. So moving on, we need to continue setting up this control plane. I got talking again, guys, and you guys can't get me talking because my productivity drops. So we need to make the controller manager. This does not work for me. Every single time I try to do this using the cat, it fails for me. I just make the file. Actually, that's why I was copying over, just doing a CP from the other nodes. So I'll continue to do that. All right. Let's see which one are we doing now? We are doing the Cube Controller Manager. I did cube twice. All right. And then I'll just do this. So I have been quite impressed. My children have been playing all by themselves upstairs for an hour, and either they died quietly or no one has died. And I feel like this is a rather good accomplishment for 3 youngish children. I mean, it is for my children. I don't know about normal children. Alright. my wife had to go to the hospital, so or to the doctor, not at the hospital. She's at the doctor. And I honestly thought I was gonna have to go sooner than this. Very happy. Whoa, I don't know what I just copied. I copied some stuff. Okay, so create this. Okay. We're just going to try to do this. This should work. We don't have to change anything inside of it, so this is going to work. After I said it, I never got it to work for me. Yeah, see, it never works. Telling you guys. Something was funky with that, though. I don't know. We're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. That was for the scheduler, right? All right, so sudo vim. No, sudo vim. Wait. This was. Oh, wait. This is creating the. 1 second. I'm way ahead of myself. This is the configuration file, not the. I thought we were making services still. Let's go ahead and make. We're gonna make the service anyways. Cube. All right. I made the service. Now we need to go ahead and make this. All right, and this is just the API version. It's just telling it where the kube scheduler config is, and leader election. Oh, I didn't use sudo. I'm an idiot. I did use sudo. What? Oh, I mistyped something. It said new directory. Oh. Did I miss a statement saying to make that directory? That directory doesn't exist. Like this one right here. And that's why this one failed. All right, guys, don't learn from me unless if you like learning from mistakes. I'm fairly competent at the mistakes part of learning. And look, it works now. Let me go crawl in a hole. All right, let's do this. In theory, this will work. This will not work. I can tell you that much. All right, unit kube scheduler service. We did not create the kube scheduler. I thought for sure we did, but I probably misspelled it, actually, to be honest. That would be very like me. Oh, look at that. How did I misspell it? How did I misspell it? Wait. Is it? It's spelled correctly. Schedule. Ah. Okay, so I just nothing to see here, guys. Let's just clear that. Nothing to see. Ah, look at that. And this is going to work. We probably should run this again. I mean, for the first time. Yep, look at that. No problems. This is going to work then. Yeah. First time. All right. Oh, now we got to do all the Engine X stuff that we did the other time, and I forgot about. All right. Hopefully, we had an Engine X package, right? I don't remember. I don't know why I'm typing an IP address. I'm like literally just typing words. Not even words. IP addresses. Let's just try it. Looks good. Oh, guys, it's going to be 3 megabytes. I'm not sure we can do it. Not sure. All right. So now that we've got Engine X stood up, so the health check, if you guys aren't familiar, let's what the health check's doing is for like load balancers and whatnot. And since you have to use certs and stuff to talk to the control plane, this proxy that we're going to set up is going to enable it for a non-cert load balancer to hit it for a health check, or anything that wants to hit it for a health check. It's interesting. I was reading an article on the Alibaba cloud about health check sanity or insanity. They have like a cluster with 10,000 nodes, which the Kubernetes supported is only 5,000. And so it went on with like all the things they had to do to support a cluster that large. And it was a really good read. And I should actually post it so everybody could have it instead of just telling you that it was a good read. One second, let me find it. Oh, what's up? So sorry you just joined. You missed us. Well, I can show you what we've done just recently for today. So we set up a load balancer for our control planes for Kubernetes because we're building a Kubernetes based off of Kelsey Hightower's Kubernetes the hard way. But not in Google Cloud Compute. We're doing it via KVM. So we did that. And then right now we're setting up our third control plane. So interestingly, I completely forgot about the third control plane, and I thought that it's been there for like a couple weeks. And we kind of had some time off for Christmas, and then as soon as the Christmas break was over, I went out of country for a week. So we're just getting back into the swing of things this week, really. And so right now we're setting up the third control plane. After that, I might try to do some GPU support in Kubernetes. Um, I don't know. I'm not perfectly set up for that because I need to actually get two machines turned on in my closet. So it might not be easy for me to stream the very initial setting up the servers because I've got to install some OSs on them and stuff. So I'm probably not set up to stream that very well. So we'll see what we do after we finish setting this up. Yeah. Thanks for joining and asking. Let me find that article really quickly because it was a very good article. And I'm gonna share it really quick. Here's the Alibaba article. My CPU does not like streaming. I need to come up with a better. I have continually failed to get hardware encoding to work for the stream, and I need to actually spend some time in doing that because oh, here we go. I found it. I found it. All right, so this is the Alibaba article. So yeah, this is a really interesting read about running Kubernetes at scale, which is not what we're doing right now. We're setting it up the absolute hardest way, and they're trying to handle it at a much different scale. So if this interests you, I'm going to drop this link in chat. Give it a read. It's really interesting. The things that they had to like split apart etcd. So they're doing some of the things that we're talking about, like our components could really be load balanced, and they did some of that with like across etcd clusters. Or with their etcd, they changed, like they split it out so that there was multiple etcd clusters that handled specific sets of data and things like that. It's a really good article, really interesting read. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to standing this up. So everything should be running. Now we just need to set up health checks for this node. We just installed etcd. Okay, and now, or not etcd, but Nginx. He does this here. We will take this, but we're not going to make the file where he makes it. Or he copies it over here, but I do remember this. So we have a vhost table. This is on the OS that this node is on. I have SSH. What my computer runs is not really even relevant. This box is a GearOS OpenSUSE box, and so they have the vhost here, and we can do this. Yeah. Now, I think this needs, I forget what this needs to be called, and the way I will find out what this needs to be called is oops, no, we want that. We just need to cat What is it? It's config something. All right, so anything .conf. Okay, so that's what I wanted to find. So now we can just vim vhosts d, and we'll call this cube.conf. This Nginx instance only does Kubernetes stuff, so seems reasonable. But this is fine. So this is a very simple thing. You know, it's just setting up this server name, port 80, and this is the interesting bit. So this is just the proxy pass back to the Kubernetes control plane that's running on this instance, and this is just verifying it with this key. This certificate authority. So. And that should allow us to start this. Oh, and let's see. Can we call it from over here? We should be able to, but there might be a firewall problem. We'll see. And that was CP2. Yeah, no route to host doesn't necessarily mean a problem here. I am also trying to cut these up and post them on YouTube so that they're in a little bit more bite-sized chunks, as well as not as much of, well, crap, that didn't work. Let's try to figure something else out. And my goal is maybe this fall. Yeah, probably this fall. To go ahead and do it again with the latest version at that time. Probably with 118. Maybe 119, depending on how late it is that I get to it. Let's see. Did I forget to? We did call restart, or start at least. Let's make sure. Okay. Yeah, we can run this. We should have been able to hit the endpoint, though. Yeah. Oh, it's unhealthy. The controller manager is unhealthy. Connection refused. All right. So I'm guessing that we didn't do the controller manager correctly. Wow, I'm smart. We didn't do the controller manager correctly. Yeah, I try to make the those videos a little bit more fun and lighthearted, as well as just quick and to the point, as well as not necessarily getting into the nitty gritty of exactly how you stand everything up, but higher level concepts of like, why do you have TLS certificates running on your control plane for each little component and some things like that. So yeah, I'd be interested in the feedback on those, because I've been I'm not very good at making YouTube videos, or any videos really. But I would be interested in feedback, like, should they go more technical? Are they good how they are? Yeah. And I really need to get this offloaded. Okay, what was it that failed? You guys got me talking again. The controller manager. So let's look at the controller manager service. All right. Maybe okay. This is good. Good. This is where all the certs and stuff are. On the surface, this looks fine to me. All right, let's look at the logs for it. But yeah, I wanted to do this whole series of Kubernetes the hardest way or hard way. I say hardest way because Kelsey Hightower does it the hard way, which he uses Google Cloud to spin up most of his instances. And here we've done it all with here like KVM. Let me pull up Vert Manager. So this is all of our infrastructure, and we did all the networking too. For those who have just joined, yeah. So, all right. Oh, okay. We didn't give it a kube config. Okay, this right here. Let's. Do we have a kube config sitting here for it? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Which means we didn't copy it over. And I think that's just this right here. So hopefully this series will be somewhat helpful for, especially the live streams for anybody that's trying to go get their CKA, their Kubernetes certified Kubernetes administrator. Did we change the service? Maybe I did right. That's my bad because I don't think the service actually. I probably just did :WR. All right. Now we should be able to do the. Perfect. And our controller manager is healthy. And can we do this now? Nope. Nope. Actually, we can try this from our local host. So we can do that here. And all right, so it is working on the local machine, which probably means, watch this, watch this. The solution to all problems, right there. I'm going to repeat, never do this. It's like, don't attempt this at home, kids. I will not be held responsible if you do this on any of your machines. The proper way to do it is to actually open up the correct ports. Oh, awesome! I'm glad it's helpful. I tried to go through a lot of work to hopefully help make these helpful. So feel free to join in anytime and ask plenty of questions. And if I don't know an answer, I'll either look for it after stream and come back with it, or we'll find it on stream. Yeah, that's pretty much when it says, when I see no route to host, two thoughts come to mind. I've screwed something up with networking, which I find incredibly easy to do. But my very first thought is, well, let me try disabling firewall, and if that works. All right, so now we should see if remember when we were hitting our load balancer. So we went through this, and this is now actually our LB can be here. LB0. We can make these requests to our load balancers, which is going to load balance across the control plane. We can verify that it's now included in this. So if you remember correctly, our load balancer knew that this node was down, and it never actually made a request to it. We can go ahead now and tail. Let's see. We're going to, maybe we need to sudo. Var log nginx. What is it? All right, so we can see if we jump over here that this actually hits it at some point. We'll just make some calls. There's only 3 control plane nodes. It might still have it blacklisted because it was down for a long time. Oh, wait, my tail isn't working. Okay, okay. So it did get hit a couple times. Sorry, I missed that part. But yeah, so now it's getting traffic load balance to it now that it's joined. Awesome. Yeah, that's the way to DDoS. That's for sure. You just hit the up arrow and return really quickly. It's probably how they DDoSed in like 1985. Not really distributed. You need like all my kids doing that. There you go. We'll get a little distributed in there. All right. We don't need to do anything else for this. We enabled HTTP health checks. We have verified. Oh, we need to do the kubelet authorization. Nope, we don't. We already did that. Sorry. Because if you remember, the kubelet, the RBAC for kubelet authorization is part of the cluster definition. So you only have to do it once. It's not on all the nodes. So we can do more on this, what RBAC and the kubelet authorization, but it's just for the whole cluster. All right, and we created a front-end load balancer, and we have verified it. So the next thing we have to do is bootstrapping the Kubernetes worker nodes. So we'll do this next Tuesday. Every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So that's like 11 Pacific time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, and like 7 p.m. Europe time. Depending on where you are in Europe, 7 or 8. 1 second, let me make sure that's. I think it's like 7, like right in the middle of Europe. So every Tuesday we're going to be setting up Kubernetes. Once we're done with doing all of these, which we don't have too much further. Let's see, we're at worker nodes. Then there's configuring kubectl for remote access. This is going to be real easy because of our load balancer. Yeah. That's not even one whole session. That's like 5 minutes. Pod network routes. This is going to be an interesting one. Oh, shoot. We'll probably do these two both together because the worker nodes aren't hard either. They're just configuring the kubelets. So we have the pod network routes will be interesting. Networking is usually done sophisticated like, and this is not sophisticated at all. the way that's done here. But it's the manual way, and it's a really good way of getting into and understanding how Kubernetes routing pod networks happen. Cool. So we only have probably like 3 more weeks, right around 3 more weeks. And then once we do that, we're going to go through and re-verify some of the infrastructure. So I know that we've touched on some stuff like firewall. I'm going to go through on every single node and purposefully set up firewall so that we can have a nice, almost production way. You should never run a production cluster this way. Again, I've tried to hit on the reasons why you wouldn't want to do that. There is no cert management. There is no automatic updates. There's no management of the underlying machines. It would be a nightmare to manage. You do this, you follow along because if you're going to maintain a Kubernetes cluster, these are great things to know. So, all right. I'm particularly pleased. Everything kind of worked. We had some problems. We solved those problems. Most of them were me being stupid. And then it all works. And it load balances. All right. Get rid of that one. Cool. All right. So do we want... I'm trying to think of how to do the next part. So kids haven't killed each other yet. I want to do some... Do you guys know what Kubeflow is? And Kubeflow pipelines. So Kubeflow is a way to manage machine learning on Kubernetes. Oh, yeah, right here. Machine learning for toolkit for Kubernetes. So I want to start doing some demos for this, but I have one problem mainly. Let's go over here. This machine is the machine that currently runs, and it's my pretty beefy machine. So let's look at this. This is where this is our control plane, etcd nodes, workers, and load balancer, and the dev boxes that we're SSHing to. If we look here, this is why I use it. It's a pretty beefy box, and it's very nice to use. The problem this machine has, it has a grand total of 0 GPU anything. You ask it to draw anything more than Vim, and it will crap its pants. I have some machines that have this, but they have nothing installed on their hard drives. I could drag them out here, but I don't have like a pass-through or anything for you guys to see their terminals. So I think the real solution is for Thursday's stream, what I'm going to do between now and Thursday is I'm going to pull them out, get the base OS installed on them, get them so that we can SSH to them from this machine, and we can just run with them on Thursday. And they have some Tesla cards in them. And that will be fun. And then we can go through and do some machine learning data models on them. And yeah. So yeah, that will be Thursday. And I think that would be the best way. Otherwise, I think it would just be a pain, and you guys really wouldn't see a whole lot as I run into the closet. I'd be in the closet for a while. I'm going to call it a short stream then. I know that we could do some other stuff, and I apologize that I wasn't better prepared. to do some of those. We could just bust out and work on some of the Rust stuff, but I need to do some. I need to do some stuff to better support that. So I apologize. Come back Thursday for a full stream from probably 1 Eastern time, so like 6 European time. And it will be a full stream of Kubernetes and probably GPU Kubernetes support. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And hopefully I can continue to bring you guys some good content. And yeah, again, sorry for the short stream. I really was only prepared for Kubernetes the hardest way. I know that we have some stuff in Rust to do. But I can't actually work on that right now, and I need to set up for Thursday. So I'm going to get ahead and go and doing that. It was fantastic hanging out with all of you. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out. I had a blast, and I look forward to seeing you guys later. And thank you very much for the subscription. It means a lot to me.